Alice in Wonderland, Chapter 8, Part 2, The Queen's Croquet Ground. Alice had never seen such a curious croquet ground in her life. It was all ridges and furrows. The croquet balls were live hedgehogs, and the mallets were live flamingos. The soldiers had to double themselves up and stand on their hands and feet to make the arches. The main difficulty for Alice at first was managing her flamingo. She succeeded in getting its body tucked away comfortably enough under her arm with its legs hanging down. But just as she had got its neck nicely straightened out and was going to give the hedgehog a blow with its head, it would twist itself around and look up in her face with such a puzzled expression that she could not help from bursting out laughing. And when she had got its head down and was going to begin again, it was very provoking to find that the hedgehog had unrolled itself and was in the act of crawling away. Besides all this, there was generally a ridge or furrow in the way wherever she wanted to send the hedgehog to. The doubled-up soldiers were always getting up and walking off to other parts of the ground. Alice soon came to the conclusion that it was a very difficult game indeed. The players all played at once, without waiting for turns, quarreling all the while and fighting for the hedgehogs. In a very short time, the queen was in a furious passion and went stamping about and shouting, "Off with his head," or "Off with her head," about once every minute. Alice began to feel very uneasy. To be sure, she had not as yet had any dispute with the queen, but she knew that it might happen any minute. And then, thought she, what would become of me? They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. It's a wonder that there's anyone left alive. She looked around for a way to escape and wondered whether she could get away without being seen, when she noticed a curious appearance in the air. It puzzled her very much at first, but after watching it a minute or two, she made it out to be a grin. Then she saw the Cheshire Cat's face appear in the air. "How are you getting on?" asked the cat. In another minute, the whole head appeared, and then Alice put down her flamingo and began an account of the game, feeling very glad she had someone to listen to her. The Cheshire Cat seemed to think that there was enough of itself now in sight, and did not make the rest of its body appear. "I don't think they are playing fair at all," complained Alice. "They fight with one another so much that you can't hear yourself speak. They don't have rules either. If there are, nobody attends to them, and you've no idea how confusing it is that all the things are alive. For instance, there's the arch I've got to go through next, walking about at the other end of the ground, and I should have croqueted the queen's hedgehog just now, only it ran away when it saw mine coming." "How do you like the queen?" asked the cat in a low voice. "Not at all," said Alice. "She's so extremely—" Just then, she noticed that the queen was listening close behind her. So she went on, "Likely to win that it's hardly worthwhile finishing the game." The queen smiled and passed on. "Who are you talking to?" asked the king. going up to Alice and looking at the cat's head with great curiosity. "It's a friend of mine, a Cheshire cat," said Alice. "Allow me to introduce it." "I don't like the look of it at all," said the king. "However, it may kiss my hand if it likes." "I'd rather not," the cat remarked. "Don't be impertinent," said the king, "and don't look at me like that." He got behind Alice as he spoke. "It must be removed," he said very decidedly, and he called the queen, who was passing at the moment. "My dear, I wish you would have this cat removed." The queen had only one way of settling all difficulties, great or small. "Off with his head," she said, without even looking round. "I'll fetch the executioner myself," the king said eagerly, and he hurried off. Alice thought she might as well go back and see how the game was going on. She heard the queen's voice in the distance, screaming with passion. She had already heard her sentence 3 of the players to be executed for having missed their turn, and she did not like the look of things at all. The game was in such confusion that she never knew whether it was her turn or not. She went off in search of her hedgehog. The hedgehog was engaged in a fight with another hedgehog, and Alice thought this to be a good chance for croqueting one of them with the other. The only difficulty was that her flamingo was on the other side of the garden, helplessly trying to fly up a tree. By the time she had caught the flamingo and brought it back, the fight was over, and both the hedgehogs were out of sight. "But it doesn't matter much," thought Alice, "as all the arches are gone from this side of the ground." She caught the flamingo and tucked it away under her arm so that it might not escape again. When she looked up again, she saw a large crowd gathered around the Cheshire cat. There was a large dispute between the executioner, the queen, and the king over it. While they spoke all at once, the others just stood there looking uncomfortable. The moment Alice appeared, they ran to her to tell her their side of the story. They begged her to solve the issue, but Alice found it hard to understand what any of them were saying as they all spoke together. According to the executioner, a head can only be cut off if it is attached to a body. He clearly stated that he had never chopped off a bodiless head in his life, and he wasn't going to go about it now. The king said that anything having a head can be executed. As per the queen, she said that she'd have everyone executed if something wasn't done soon. Having no proper reply, Alice replied diplomatically, "Since the cat belongs to the Duchess, I think you should ask her about all this." The queen sent the executioner to fetch the Duchess from the prison. The moment the executioner left, the cat's head began to fade. It completely disappeared by the time he returned with the Duchess. The king and the executioner ran all over the place looking for it, and the others got back to the game. Stay tuned for chapter 9.